got a taste for something finer than designer wear. Something in my mind was shining brighter than a solar flare. Welcome one and all to a cigar review with me, your fellow cigar enthusiast, aficionado, what have you. Patel's ART Daily, Crook Street, these nuts, you already know. Today we're going to be trying out a Rocky Patel. I've heard a lot of good things about Rocky Patels. Shouts out to everyone in the United States of America. But you have to understand that when you hear the opinions of people in a place that don't have full access to a full range of cigars, both Cuban and New World, I don't really know how to take someone's opinion, because it's like, you know, they're very pro what they have, and everybody I feel should be proud of what they have, because it makes sense to be proud of what you have and what's accessible to you, because you know you don't really have an opinion on something else. But even those guys in the States who have access to Cubans, they have slightly a different opinion to those people who have no access to Cubans, and their opinion seems to be more in line with mine. Like, you know, I appreciate a Cuban more than I do a New World. Today I'm very much in the mood to smoke something. I like to remove the old band before I smoke, so I don't have to worry about it later on. And then just in general, man, I just like to smoke a naked cigar, you know what I'm saying? It's very cool. But it also gives me opportunity to show you the band. There we have it, the Rocky Patel Grand Reserve. Again, I'll tell you, I've been getting a lot of good feedback on this cigar. Shouts out to the man them at Up in Smoke. I just want to be as honest as possible, impartial as possible, and just give you a good guide and description for yourself, you know, if you want to get involved. But this is a 652, so the ring gauge is 52 millimeters and the length is 6 inches. I'm gonna be enjoying some Hennessy VSOP, but I'm gonna light up my cigar first, and we're gonna get to the Hennessy later on. My problem with New World cigars is I find there's less variety of flavor in New World cigars in general in comparison to Cubans. Say for example, like we're just gonna go straight for the Michael Jordan of cigars, in my opinion, but also Michael Jordan's favorite cigar, which is a Partagas Lusitania, which is a double Corona. I forget the actual size. I think it's like a 7 3/4 and I think a 46 or maybe a 49 ring gauge in between those. But you know, I'm just off the dome, you know. But with that particular cigar, the Lusitania, every third has thirds. There's so many transitions of flavors. It starts off smooth, it starts off mellow. You got some coffee, cappuccino, then it goes black Americano. Then you get some walnuts in it. Then you get some dark chocolate in it. And it's just doing things, whap, whap, whap. If you have like a sensitive enough palate to appreciate all these different flavors, you would definitely get a sensory experience of a lifetime smoking a Lusitania from Partagas. But that's, I feel the same with Cubans in general. But with New Worlds, you might get a nice flavor and it'll just be consistent throughout the cigar. So we're going to see what's going on with this. And New Worlds tend to, especially Nicaraguan cigars, tend to be a lot stronger. But, you know, sometimes it's like strong for nothing, you know. It's like a lot of pepper, a lot of wood, a lot of, you know, that cedar taste and a bit of alfalfa. And it's like, bro, where's the coffees? Where's the fruits? And with this, apparently, I'm hearing it's creamy. I'm hearing there's notes of chocolate and fruit. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. So I'm gonna spark this, John. You know what I'm saying? And get this party started, right? I'm gonna be using my Colibri V cutter. Just purchased this yesterday from the good people down at Davidoff, London. Shouts out to Eddie Sahakian. Met him for the first time. I've seen him a couple times in store, but he's a very busy man, you know, a very good man. Always has time for people. So when I'm there, he's always talking to people or interacting with his staff. Top guy, do you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to you, Eddie. It was a pleasure to meet you. So I bought this Colibri, rose gold colored, to match my Colibri soft flame lighter. I mean, it matches the root beer. What can I say? But yeah, let's go. Let's give it a V cut. Should we give it a V cut, or should we give it maybe a rose cut? Oh, that almost went terribly wrong. But shouts out to the Calibri. It saved me. Complete amateur. No, I'm joking. I ain't an amateur. You know, I've been smoking these cigars since I was 11. But the difference between a King Edward cigar and these cigars, like a New World or Cuban, they were already pre-cut. So, you know, you didn't have to cut them. So you actually do a V cut, then you turn it 90 degrees and hit it with another V cut. It makes it look like the top of a rose. It's quite beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna go for a soft flame. You know what we do, you know we light these up. Just toast it. I'm trying to give this cigar an opportunity to be good. I'm trying to give myself an opportunity to enjoy this cigar. So we give it a little blow. It's not yet fully there. I'm toasting. I'm trying to make it be as gradual as possible. You see the distance, you see the flame there. We're not trying to singe it. My guy was telling me today that, you know, the less heat, the more flavor, you know, so you don't want to overheat it, you don't want to singe it. You might be wondering, why don't I just take a couple draws in it while I'm lighting it so it lights up quicker? Well, you know, that's going to alter the initial first draw, which is going to then shape my opinion on the overall flavor of the cigar, and we don't want to do that. Again, we want to be fair. Okay, so we're going to go for the first draw. Let's see what's good. Yeah, quite bitter. Light coffee, lightly nutty. Definitely no cream, definitely no fruits, definitely no chocolate. Not yet anyway, but it's the first draw. I've opened it up, you know, that rose cut is gonna give you immediate airflow and smoke consumption for you to make your decision. So that is one thing. It has got a great draw. It is drawing very nicely. It's not too loose, but there's great airflow. Rolled to perfection. That's one thing about New World cigars. You'll find that the presentation is going to be spectacular. You know, in trying to compete with Cuban cigars in the Cuban cigar market, there's a little room for nonsense when you're creating a brand trying to go up against the big wigs. You got to make sure that your product is perfect, and this is perfectly rolled, and it's definitely smoking well. See, I'm getting pepper, some cedar. It's not the creamiest. It's not. So one thing I don't like about this is I'm looking online to try and find out what the wrapper is. It says undisclosed. The filler is apparently undisclosed. Apparently it was rolled in Honduras, but it looks Nicaraguan. I mean, she's like, bro, what's all the secrets? I don't like that. But shouts out to Rocky Patel and them. I mean, I don't smoke Rocky Patels personally, but I'm giving it a go. Giving it a go. Definitely a good draw. Definitely smoking well. And what you find is that a lot of these cigar reviewers, like they've been incentivized to give good commentary. And this particular cigar won #1 cigar in the top 25 cigars with some competition somewhere. But again, these competition results, I don't really go on competition results because again, people could be incentivized. But I do trust my own palate, my own taste buds, and I always give someone a fair shake. I always try something new. But it doesn't hurt to try things. But I'm always going to come back to the things that I appreciate. See, one thing I find with cigars is that people just it's chocolatey. There's no chocolate in this, bro. It's cedar. It's pepper. It's very tobacco. It's like a bit of alfalfa. Now it's lit. I'm gonna just enjoy, and I'm gonna get back to you when I hit the second third. Okay, back with you. Thank you for being so patient. And we're well into the second third. And I will say that there was an introduction of a creamy flavor, a creamier smoothness to the flavors already present. So that was the little cedary, peppery. There was an introduction of some sort of cooked fruit, like a like a mulled wine sort of matured fruit sort of flavor, like raisin, sultana sort of vibes. A little slight sweetness to it. Soft notes of a creamier chocolate vibe. But still very much that same mixture of pepper and spice with the undertones of a chocolate bitterness, a bit of fruit, that initial nutty, little light nuttiness has gone. Again, this is my issue with New World cigars. The transitions between the first and second third are not so distinct. It more so has like two flavors. The first and the second third are normally the same, and then at the end it gets a lot more harsh and peppery. But I will say right now it is quite smooth and creamy, a little. I mean, not creamy like a JJ Fox House Blend Canonazo. Now that's cream. This is okay. I'm trying to be as optimistic and impartial as possible, but this is decent. But this is not a Cuban, and it's quite apparent to me, being a Cuban cigar smoker, that the difference. I'm looking for a little bit more. I'm not just looking for that strong, spicy, peppery, bitter, rock your socks type of experience. I'm really here for the flavors. Anyway, I'm gonna smoke this through the second third, and I'll get back to you when we're in the last third. And now we're back for the final third of this Rocky Patel Grand Reserve cigar. And to be frank, okay, so I like cigars because of the transitions of flavors in each third of the cigar. The wrapper has not been disclosed, the filler has not been disclosed, the binder has not been disclosed. If anyone has that information for me, please, I'd appreciate it. Let me know in the comments. And please, in the comments, let me know how you feel, because again, from most of the reviews and most of the reports I've heard of this cigar, people enjoy it. But what I like about cigars is the transitions. And the problems I have with New World cigars is, in terms of flavor, the transition between the thirds isn't so distinct, and I normally just get like a one consistent flavor throughout, and then get to the final third and it just gets a lot more peppery, and you know, just certain flavors that people just don't really subscribe to. Me personally, myself, I prefer the chocolate notes, the fruits, the coffee, the cream. You know, I want all the good stuff. I don't want that bitter stuff. I don't want that harsh. I don't want that strong spice. That's just not me for my palate. If that's what you're looking for, then by all means. For me personally, I like the variations and the changes. And there's not much of that in here, to be honest. I would say it was medium to full-bodied. There is some cream. It is a lot more affordable than a Cuban cigar, again, which is going to shape people's opinions, because people are going to smoke what they can afford, really. You know, but I feel with cigars, most of the time you get what you pay for, especially with aged cigars. Me personally, I wouldn't run to this particular cigar. Again, with the host of Cuban cigars available in this UK market. Again, it's not the worst cigar in the world, but it's definitely not the best. And I definitely don't think it lives up to the, for lack of a better word, hype, you know, of the general opinion or general perception of this cigar. This particular cigar was released in 2018 in Austria at an expedition called Mountain on Fire. And, you know, a lot of the promotion put into these cigar releases, again, are going to shape the opinion of the smokers. But, you know, if you're not at some high altitude in Austria and getting all the garnish, you know, of a cigar smoking experience at that level, all you have to go on is the cigar and the flavor of the cigar and the experience of smoking a cigar. And that's where I am, and this is my opinion. But yeah, not my particular cup of tea. From a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to give it about a 6.5. If a 10 was Partagas Lusitania, which I'll say, you know, a Partagas Lusitania for me is like a 9.5. Though if a Partagas Lusitania was a 10, this would definitely be a 6.5. Yeah, I'm not going to be influenced by competitions or awards. You know, these things, it's business and politics. But for my particular palate, I'll say this is not my favorite cigar. You can see there's like some issues going on with the wrapper. Even though it's not affecting the smoke, to be honest. For all the Rocky Patel fans, no disrespect. It just is what it is. Papa Dels has given his opinion, and it is what it is. So, that will conclude today's review. Please definitely enjoy cigars, and if you're an entry-level smoker, please do try for yourself. I would say that much. And yeah, please let me know in the comments the type of experiences you had with this Rocky Patel Grand Reserve on some real life. Oh yeah, oh Lord.
I got a taste for something finer than designer wear. Something in my mind was shining brighter than a solar flare.